Growing up in the easternmost corner of the state of Maine, I would go fishing with my father in freshwater streams and lakes. A catch of bass, pickerel, or brook trout often featured at the family dinner table. I still enjoy spin casting for bass at the lake next to my cabin in Maine, and hearing the haunting calls of loons and watching the eagles soar. This summer, on a birding trip with two friends to Alaska, known for its salmon runs in summer, we arranged to go fishing for a day, from Homer to the remote Big River Lake area. A meticulously restored 1950s-era de Havilland Beaver floatplane took us from Kenai across Cook Inlet to Big River Lake. Wetlands dotted with green areas came into view as we crossed the inlet. On the west side of the inlet, low clouds floated by. It was a marginal day for flying with just visual navigation, and there was concern over what flight conditions might be at our destination. But our experienced bush pilot pressed confidently forward. It was a beautiful flight over the remote, uninhabited wetlands. Just a snippet of the vastness of Alaska. Fortunately, our destination was free of fog. The floatplane landed, and we shifted to an outboard-powered fishing boat with a canopy to protect us from rain. Our pilot headed back for Kenai as our guide whisked us away to an area where people fishing from two other boats were already catching salmon. An unusual sight on an inland lake. A harbor seal stuck its head out of the water. The sockeye salmon returning to spawn were plentiful. I caught one from the stationary boat by just casting and then jigging with hook, line, and sinker, but no bait. Excited with the first catch, we posed in front of a waterfall. Our guide then took us to fish in a cove where there were Alaskan brown bears with their large claws, catching and eating salmon. A big mother bear emerged from the woods with her two cubs in tow. When she caught a salmon and prepared it for the cubs, one entered the water to get its meal. The other cub stayed on shore and protested loudly. There was so much going on all around us. My companions focused on observing and photographing the bears and other wildlife, and I just kept fishing. On the other side of the cove, a second mother bear came down the hill, followed by her cub. She sat on a rock and then moved closer to the shore. Later, we spotted a third bear family with two small, dark, perhaps only year-old cubs. While the bear family stayed near the shore, two large solitary bears were fishing and feeding not far from our boat. Alaska's standard advice to hikers, as reinforced by frequent trail signs, is to stay at least 300 yards away from brown bears at all times. We were less than 30 yards from these bears, who fortunately were busy feeding on salmon and apparently not concerned about our presence. When one of the bears got within 10 feet of our boat, and us, our guide briefly started the outboard motor, and to our relief, it moved away. Mallard ducks bravely followed the bears around looking for handouts. While short-billed and herring gulls waited patiently near the shore. In the meantime, I caught more salmon, for a total of 6. While the bears fished and then ate their catch in the same place, we took 2 of our salmon with us to have later. Back at our lodge in Homer that evening, we had fresh sockeye salmon fillets cooked on the grill. With a view of Kachemak Bay, snow-capped mountains and glaciers, and a sentinel bald eagle keeping a watchful eye on the grill from the roof of our lodge, we enjoyed a gourmet dinner, followed by another the next evening. Fine Alaskan versions of those family brook trout dinners back in Maine over 50 years ago.